I do think that women could make politics irrelevant by a kind of spontaneous cooperative action, the like of which we have never seen, which is so far from people's ideas of state structure and viable social structure that seems to them like total anarchy. And what it really is very subtle forms of interrelation which do not follow a sort of hierarchical pattern, which is fundamentally patriarchal. The opposite to patriarchy is not matriarchy, but fraternity. And I think it's women who are going to have to break the spiral of power and find the trick of cooperation.
Took my sister and John, I love you. I'm ever so fond of you. Will you wait for me till I am heavenly? Oh, there's much more to do. But I love you. Oh, you're tender. Your name's a whisper. I let tears fall like rain, apple cider. my darling child, my darling baby, my darling child, you gave life to me, my darling child, my darling baby, my darling child, you came and saved me, my darling child, my darling baby, my darling child, God gave you to me, me little ninja, my little dancer, me little street fighter, me little chancer, me lovely boy, me lovely baby, my pride and joy, me little puppy, me little wolf, me little lammy, my favorite boy, my angel baby. Me little ninja, me little dancer, me little street fighter, me little chancer, me love me boy, me love me baby, my pride and joy, me little puppy.
Am I a human? It's very good. Maybe I am. It's very nice. The feelings in me and the fire keeps me warm.
I'm not no red football to be kicked around the garden, no, no. I'm a red Christmas tree ball, and I'm fragile. I'm not no animal, though I am to you. I'm not no crocodile like the one in Dublin Zoo, who lived in a cage the length and breadth of his body, with a window which people would look through, and throw coins on his back to taunt him, though he couldn't move, even if he wanted to. I'm not no animal in the zoo. I'm not no whipping boy for you. You may not treat me like you do. I'm not no animal in the zoo. My skin is not a football for you. My head is not a football for you. My body's not a football for you. My womb is not a football for you. My heart is not a football for you. I'm not no animal in the zoo. This animal will jump up and eat you. I'm not no animal in the zoo, and I've every intention of leaping up and getting you. La 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 la. What else should I be? All apologies. What else should I say? Everyone is gay. What else could I write? I don't have the right. What else should I be? All apologies. In the sun, I feel as one. In the sun, I'm married, buried. I wish I was like you, easily amused. Find my nest of salt. Everything's my fault. I'll take all the blame. Aqua sea foam shame. Sunburn with freezer burn. Choking on the ashes of her enemy. In the sun, I feel as one. In the sun, I'm married, buried. All in all is all we all are. 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 All in all is all. A perfect Indian is he, remembering him life is sweet, like a weeping willow, his face on my pillow comes to me still in my dreams. And there I saw a young baby, a beautiful daughter was she, a face from a painting, red cheeks and teeth aching, her eyes like a wine I'm sailing on this terrible ocean. I've come for myself to retrieve. Too long have I been feeling like Lear's children, and there's only one way to be free. He's shy and he speaks quietly. He's gentle and he seems to me like the elf Pharaoh, his face worn and harrowed. Is he a daydreamer like me? I'm sailing on this terrible ocean. I've come for myself to retrieve. Too long have I been feeling like Lear's children, and there's only one way to be free. See the child with the golden hair, yet eyes that show the emptiness inside. Do we know? Can we understand just how he feels, or have we really tried? See him now as he stands alone and watches children play a children's game. Simple child, he looks almost like the others, yet they know he's not the same. Scorn not his simplicity, but rather try to love him all the more. Scorn not his simplicity, oh no, oh no. See him stare, not recognizing the kind face that only yesterday he loved. The loving face of a mother who can't understand what she's been guilty of. How she cried tears of happiness the day the doctor told her it's a boy. Now she cries tears of helplessness and thinks of all the things he can't enjoy. Scorn not his simplicity, but rather try to love him all the more. Scorn not his simplicity. Oh no. Only he knows how to face the future, hopefully surrounded by despair. He won't ask for your pity or your sympathy, but surely you should care. Scorn not his simplicity, but rather try to love him all the more. Scorn not his simplicity. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
great pain. Oh, babies
this heart lies for you, a lark born only for you, who sings only to you, my love, my love, my love. I am waiting for you, for only to adore you. My heart is for you, my love, my love, my love. This is my grief for you, for only the loss of you, the hurting of you, my love, my love, my love. There are rays on the weather. Soon these tears will have cried, all loneliness have died. My love, my love, my love. I will have you with me in my arms only, for you are only, my love, my love, my love. I'd a terrible broken heart. I'd a terrible broken heart. I'd a terrible broken heart.
Specifically, I want to talk about the famine, about the fact that there never really was one. There was no famine. See, Irish people were only allowed to eat potatoes. All of the other food, meat, fish, vegetables, was shipped out of the country under armed guard to England while the Irish people starved. And then, in the middle of all this, they gave us money not to teach our children Irish. And so we lost our history, and this is what I think is still hurting me. You see, we're like a child that's being battered, has to drive itself out of its head because it's frightened, still feels all the painful feelings. But they lose contact with the memory, and this leads to massive self-destruction, alcoholism, drug addiction, all desperate attempts at running. And in its worst form becomes actual killing. And if there ever is gonna be healing, there has to be remembering and then grieving, so that there then can be forgiving. There has to be knowledge and understanding. All the lonely people, where do they all come from? An American army regulation says you mustn't kill more than 10% of a nation, because to do so causes permanent psychological damage. It's not permanent, but they didn't know that. Anyway, during the supposed famine, we lost a lot more than 10% of our nation through deaths on land or in ships of emigration. But what finally broke us was not starvation, but its use in the controlling of our education. Schools go on about Black 47, on and on about the terrible famine. But what they don't say is, in truth, there really never was one. Excuse me? The lonely people. Sorry, excuse me? Where do they all come from?
I can tell you in one word.
All the lonely people. Where do they all belong? So let's take a look, shall we? The highest statistics of child abuse in the EEC, and we say we're a Christian country, but we've lost contact with our history. See, we used to worship God as a mother. We're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Look at all our old men in the pubs. Look at all our young people on drugs. We used to worship God as a mother. Now look at what we're doing to each other. We've even made killers of ourselves, the most childlike, trusting people in the universe. And this is what's wrong with us. Our history books, the parent figures lied to us. I see the Irish as a race like a child that got itself bashed in the face. And if there ever is gonna be healing, there has to be remembering and then grieving, so that there then can be forgiving. There has to be knowledge and understanding. All the lonely people, where do they all come from? All the lonely people, where do they all come from?
We stand on the brink of a great achievement. In this island, there is no solution to be found to our disagreements by shooting each other. There is no real invader here. We are all Irish in all our different kinds of ways. We must not now or ever in the future show anything to each other except tolerance, forbearance, and neighborly love.
Because of our traditions, everyone here knows who he is and what God expects him to do.
Thank you for hearing me. 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 gentle with me. You are gentle with me. You are gentle with me. You are gentle with me. Thanks for silence with me. Thanks for silence with me. Thanks for silence with me. Thanks for silence.